What's up, YouTube? Today is going to be a 2-episode day, with the first being an update about pretty much everything that's going on, and the second is working on the rear suspension on the Buick GS. We got to get that apart so we can get it down and sandblast. I actually been playing phone tag with Bill, and mostly because he calls me when I'm at work and I call him right as he's leaving work or right after work. So I'm probably going to stop down at his shop this week and really kind of have a discussion about what we're going to do. And it's a big thank you to all you guys that stopped in last night at the live stream. We're going to do another one of those after the holidays, so that because it's going to get real hectic realistically. But the big update is I went ahead, put a good chunk of scrap that was everything from the Buick to even the BMW, which was the first project, which I learned a lot about how to kind of construct episodes from the first episode. I did way too much, and it was just, if you want to look at that video, I love that BMW. That BMW is my daily driver, and it's truly is a phenomenal car. But the update on this truck, you can't beat free. You know, I wasn't expecting it, and I don't have a dime. Well, I have coolant into it, but that's it. That's all I have. So I was talking to everyone that's involved with getting, well, that was going to be trading everything. So come spring, probably a little afterwards, we're going to be doing the 8.1 swap in the truck. But it's really cold out. It's actually like 10 degrees right now, and I really want to focus on the Buick. So that's the update on the truck. It's going to happen. Just one, it's too cold to be working outside doing an engine swap. Two, I'm going to end up just buying the truck outright. So it's going to be about what I would be putting into this truck. Just, I won't have to worry about, you know, we're just going to part this truck out. I'm actually going to make money off the truck, and we're going to get a big component that we need. So the update is I did a little bit of investigation on the overall brake system. There's a brake above the fuel tank. There's a brake right about here. The ABS is done. The wheel sensors are all over the place. So I have all kinds of lights going on just from the brake system. The hydro boost needs replacing. All of that really equals out to being quite a bit of money just to get this truck running and exchange it for 8.1 liter, which I'm going to end up spending less if I just buy the truck than fixing this truck and exchanging it. So I'm on a very tight budget, so I can't be doing that. I can't afford to lose money just for content. I really have to build things the way I would do it if I wasn't working on YouTube, but making YouTube content. So the big issue is we're going to pop this, and I'm going to show you what's going to happen. I already have someone that's buying the tires off me. The bed's already bought. There's a couple of the passenger side panels already bought. I'm going to be selling the grill. The headlights aren't really worth selling, maybe the bottom ones, but the hood is in rough shape. Someone might need it. I've always been very good at parting cars out, so we'll see what ends up happening. Let's see if I can get this hood open with all the crap on it. So here's the solution. Since I recharged the battery and not rejuvenated it, but you know what I mean, reconditioned the battery, the thing runs beautifully. The codes are gone. It's no longer idling poorly. So the mission's going to be this. This is a 6.1 with the 706 heads. We're going to be replacing the heads on this with the 799 heads and turboing it. And what we're going to do with the actual engine is we're going to be putting it in the Buick GS. It's not going to be the permanent engine, but it's going to be the temporary permanent engine, if that makes sense. So I really just want to get this thing on the road, even as it looks. I want to put the hood on the wall, so I'm see if I can't find another hood. So that hood is too nice looking to be painted over, but I also don't want to drive around with it in that kind of condition because it will not last up here, especially seeing how I kind of want this to be a daily. And that would be a phenomenal engine for a daily driver. I don't know if I'm going to make some of you upset by doing that, but I have almost everything I need to get that to work. And that actually means I'm gonna steal from Peter to pay Paul on this one. So stealing from Peter will mean we're gonna be taking the engine out of this, and that will be our main drive. And then, hold on a second. All right, now the other stealing from Peter to pay Paul is we need a transmission to mount up with the LS swap, or the LQ1 or 2, or anyways. So if we're going to be putting a lot of power, I'd really like to turbocharge it. We need something that can take power, and we need something that is cheap. You can't find a transmission that is cheap and take power unless you have one just laying around. Now, I know a lot of people complain about the R154 transmissions being like a truck transmission and shifting very meh, but I find that if you just tell it what you want it to do, you don't baby it, it does a phenomenal job just putting the power to the road. And this one in particular, I've had for close to 13-15 years, somewhere in between there. This was in my red Supra. Now, that being said, it was only got 100 miles on it since I brought it down to a shop that upgraded the couple weak spots inside, and I didn't care what it looked like back then, so it just was, you know, bring it down to the track. And the big issue is that that car just was rusting away. So this right here just has about almost $900 to $1,000 worth of upgrades before even including the fact that it, you know, I had to get the transmission back in the day. So I have this, a belt housing is like $500, and we can mount this to an LS engine. Now, that means quite a bit's gonna have to happen for this to be able to handle it. And I really intended to put a 455 in this after we found out that it didn't have one, but just the amount of cost involved in it, I think we're gonna try getting, I know where there's 2 other Buick GSs that are in a lot better shape. I found them after I found this, so we kind of start finding more and more stuff. Matter of fact, after, and I said this last night in the live stream, after doing some interviews and stuff like that, I've really found a lot of barn finds. I know where there's a 71 Mach 1 Ford Mustang. I know where there's a 1969 Camaro SSRS, all original, rough shape. It's been in literally a garage for 20-25 years. I know where there's 2 more Buick GSs. I know where there's a 1970 442 Oldsmobile, and I really want that car. So once the channel starts getting a little bit more, you know, generating its own income, and it becomes a hobby that pays for itself, I would love to bring you some more barn finds, preferably ones that are not in this kind of condition. But this one I'm keeping, the Supra I'm keeping. Some of the other barn finds, we might see what it would take to maybe flip barn finds. That'd be kind of cool. I would be really up for that. The other thing I mentioned, I don't know when I mentioned it, but once the channel gets big enough, I want to start a custom shop, not be working out of my garage. But that's kind of the update for today. The decision is, I really am on a tight budget, and there's very little funds left. So not until next month, blah, 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 you know, as we progress forward. But the big thing is, I've decided maybe someday we'll put a 455 in it, but for now, we have an engine, we have a transmission, and I can have it swapped into here running with very little energy whatsoever. I mean, to me, it's no brainer. And not that I ever thought I would be a person to just say, oh yeah, LS swap it, but after doing the rabbit hole that is finding all the parts to swap this over, it's really just mind-boggling how cheap it is. So you can't argue with a budget build LS. It's just, you get a lot of bang for your buck. So that's the very big update. This is going to get an LS swap. I'm sure some of you guys are going to be really upset by it, but I'm very excited about it, and I never thought I would be. I'm done fighting with engines that, more specifically this one, especially with how much energy has been put into this thing. And we will rebuild this someday. For now, I'm going to put the intake manifold, all the stuff back on it. I'm going to seal it up, probably build a quick crate for it, and store it. I have a place I can store it as it is, and someday down the road we'll you know, make this thing make 400 horsepower and put it in a hot rod. Just that day's not today, mostly because everything involving with Buick engines are freaking expensive. So I'm not going to play that game right now. I can't afford to. So cheap alternative with a lot of power attached to something that I already have, and that's what we're going to do, guys. So hopefully this helps you guys out, and not helps you guys out, but gives you a little bit more information. I'll quickly throw this episode together so that you can get it out, and we'll have another episode where I finish taking this off, and very shortly look forward to stripping the rest of this and bringing it down to Bill, getting it totally sandblasted. The other thing I've, after the live stream, which thank you very much guys for, you know, kind of like spitballing with me, we're going to paint the frame. So the first thing I want to do is get well through primer on it, and then once that's on there, we're going to go ahead, upgrade it, and now we're definitely going to have to make more power. So look forward to that very shortly. Sorry if this was like janky. I'm trying to use a new hand tool for holding the camera, and it's about 10 degrees outside, which makes the garage like 35, and I'm wearing a t-shirt because I'm an idiot. You guys have a wonderful day. I will see you guys in a few hours.